It's time for a random review.
All right, welcome to the original Geek Random Review. We set the topic, the dice set the direction. We know what we're reviewing, we just don't know how.
Absolutely, yeah. And we're doing Project Hail Mary today. So we're looking forward to rolling the dice and exploring this great film. Because the bottom line is, no matter what comes out of this random review, we both give it 2 thumbs down.
Yes. Which, if you've seen the movie, you know is a really good vote.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you've read the book.
It is
It is amazing. I wanted to hear you say that like 9 more times. I almost restarted this particular version just to get you to say it again. You knew you're better memory of me than me at this. Which am I rolling for you first? Or you rolling for me?
Actually, I believe it's my turn to roll for you. So you have an 11. The successful perception check. The spin gravity sets. The use of a real rotating centrifuge rig. This makes it the film visually grounded, using practical rotating sets rather than pure CGI. Allowed Ryan Gosling to move with a realistic, disorienting weight. It gave the ship a claustrophobic, tactile feel that CGI simply can't replicate.
I really like this topic because it's more than just the sets. I mean, obviously, in a movie like this, for those of you who don't know the premise, again, a world-ending situation, and he's the guy that has to go save the world, and he has to go. He ends up alone, and it's in space. So you would expect the way things are today would be mostly, I mean, even TV shows like Mandalorian, they use the volume, where even though it's all virtual, to us it looks great. They could have gone that way, but they chose to build most of the ship, most of the scenes, I believe, that they have filmed. I saw the centrifuge set. I saw a couple other with Rocky, that they're all practical set pieces. Rocky is a practical. It's not a CGI character. It's a practical character. It's a puppet. It's a puppet. So beyond just the spin gravity set, I think the use of the practical effects it made it feel almost more like an old school 80s and 90s movie because it wasn't too shiny. Those that fit the range that Jeff and I are in. If my Gen X friends out there, you'll remember movies like the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and they had the animated Spider-Man. Like, he looked horrible. He looked like a rubber doll, right? It was bad. And this went back to the practical effect of it looks like they're really sitting there, because he's really in there. And I agree with the statement of the claustrophobic setting and the disorientation. I believe they actually had it on a rotation. They put it on an axis so the whole set would move. So he wasn't just doing the old Star Trek throw yourself on the ground. He was literally fighting the set as it was moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was fantastic. There's a lot about this that I love, but yeah, that's definitely one of the things.
Yeah, practical effects. It's interesting that you pointed out Spider-Man, because I just saw someone that they mentioned that in the new Spider-Man, they actually have, it's not Tom Holland, it's stunt actor doing some swinging, and they did that as much as possible. And apparently the feedback was there. CGI is good, but it doesn't quite look right. And so, and I think, they were so right to do this. It's Lord and, oh man, what's the two filmmakers here? Anyway, they made a great choice by going with practical effects. It makes a difference. It feels real. This movie, it feels real because they're only using CGI when they have to. And when they had to, and hopefully I'm not ruining anything from one of these other roles, is some of the effects of when they see that alien planet and when they're in that field of astrophage. It's obviously CGI and it looks amazing. So it's not like we're not crapping on CGI. But what I do like is when a filmmaker chooses to do a practical effect when they can.
Yeah, obviously we use AI in technology all the time, but yeah, the use of practical effects really does ground it. I don't want it to sound cheesy because that's the way the question worded it, but it really does ground what the performance looks like. I feel like his performance was better because he was
Yeah, true too.
he truly had to react to a situation.
Yeah.
Again, and they're professionals, and I'm sure if he did it on a volume, Ryan Gosling would have made it look real as much as he could have. But there's that extra layer that you can feel that, oh, he really fell. This isn't like him goofing. He just slipped and he fell. A little side quest note, I just saw a video today. Apparently Tom Holland was doing some of his own stunts.
Nice.
They switched to a stuntman because he got a concussion and he had to stop filming for a month.
Oh.
So he was really doing his own stunts there too. So,
Okay.
but anyway, just happened to watch it like a couple hours ago. All right.
All
We're
right.
going to use our special Galaxy Quest obtained dice for Jeff.
Mhm.
And if you don't know what that means, go back and watch the last episode.
Yeah, how dare you?
A 19. A
All
successful charisma. Oh, look at this, Rocky the Puppet. A mix of practical puppetry and VFX. I will roll again if you don't want to talk about this. Hold on. So the real star of the show by using a physical puppet. I didn't even know this was here. Performed by James Ortiz on set. Gosling had something real to interact with, Rocky being the most lovable non-human character since E.T., sparking a massive wave of amaze memes. So, I think you should definitely say something, but we just talked about this, so if you wanted another roll, we could do another roll.
Yeah, because we wrap this up with the practical effects, because I agree. Like, they could have CGI'd Rocky, and they didn't. They used a puppet, and it feels more real and more grounded. So I feel like it's kind of the same topic. And you did literally mention that Rocky was a puppet.
So again, if you're watching one of these, if this is your first random review with us, the list is generated by AI. We don't look at it on purpose so that we don't know what we're doing. The whole point of this is to be fresh and off the cuff. We watched the movie, actually went and saw it together. So I did not know that was an option. So this is the first time we've actually had a crossover. We had to roll a second roll.
Yes, I agree.
All right, hold on. Let me see what I got for you this time. Oh, I rolled another 19. We're not going to do that. I can't roll this good. Now I rolled a 20. Oh, that's a different one. For the record, I never roll this good in actual D&D. Usually ones and twos. Okay. Critical hit. First contact sequence. Also our first 20, I think. The airlock meeting between Grace and Rocky. Pure cinematic magic. The moment the two ships dock and the two species see each other for the first time was cited as the scene of the year. It balanced tension, wonder, and humor in a way that defined Lord and Miller style. So there's the other guy.
Yeah, there's our filmmaker names. Yeah, so because they made
Did they actually make The Martian? No.
The Lego movie. They did Deadpool. They're great. So they do a great job of mixing kind of humor and drama. They can really make it work, and it works here. I'm very glad that I didn't listen to the audiobook prior to seeing the movie. So I agree with that magic of them first meeting, and I hadn't seen too many spoilers. I mean, just watched the trailer. So I didn't know really what to expect. And as he comes up in the airlock and the wall of different materials is showing there, and one that has that clear panel, and he's able to look through it, interact with Rocky. I had no idea. Like, I had no idea I didn't know Rocky was going to hold up a Xenonite crafted, like a 3D printed version of Grace. That's Ryan Gosling's character, or he does like these 3D printings, and he does one of the ship, and like I didn't know he was going to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was so for me it was brand new. I imagine it was just as magical for those who had read the book or listened to the audiobook, but Yeah, I agree. It was very well.
I'll say I oddly didn't make the connection in the parallel before hearing one of the earlier ones we talked about with the connection to like an ET. Um, it does remind me a little bit of the scene where Elliot meets ET. In not in the mechanics of it, because it's obviously far different. There is no Reese's Pieces in space.
Does Rocky turn on his heart light?
He does turn on his heart light. But in the tone of it, they approach it in the same way, tonally in the movie, where, Elliot is very innocently trying to lure out whatever this is, because he doesn't know what he's luring out. He just knows something threw the ball back at him when he threw it in. And it had this sense of wonder. It was exploration. It was discovery for him. And I think this was the same kind of scene where, he knew what he was getting into. Grace knew that it was an alien ship. There's no unknown in terms of what he's facing, but the tone of that scene reminded me of that initial meeting, that first contact. And when movies do it right, and I think this one did, I agree. I think it was a lot of fun to watch. And I'm going to go, I think I'm going to even say it was a lot of fun to kind of experience it.
Yeah. And one thing, and they might have explained this in the movie and I just forgot, but the reason that initially it wasn't all clear is Rocky can't see with light, he sees with sound. And so he didn't need a clear panel, but he didn't know what a human was, and he didn't know what a human might need. And so he made all these different panels, some clear, the one clear and the rest were different levels of opacity and type and texture. He had
Funny,
no idea.
I didn't pick up on that.
Right, and I don't think they explain it in the movie. They explain it very well in the book. And the reason when he goes back and it's all clear is because Rocky sensed that the human interacted through that single clear panel and didn't know why, doesn't even know what looking at light is, doesn't know what the speed of light is, doesn't know any of that. And doesn't really know what light is, actually has to be explained to him. So it's wild. And I love that we often bemoan that when we watch like Star Trek or these other things, that everything's humanoid. All these aliens they're just different versions of a human.
Yeah.
And so what I love about this, Andy Weir, who wrote it, and then Lord and Miller for making it come to life, is having an alien species that's truly alien. It's just amazing.
But and I assume it's the same way in the book. I have not read or listened to the book yet, so I will assume that the mechanics of it are the same. But they, in the movie, did a great job of, they show you how the translation from human to Rocky, right? Because again, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't read the book, Rocky talks and speaks in tonal. He's a tonal language. Mm-hmm. It's a musical language.
Yeah.
And there's no phonemes. There's no sounds that are words. But through a little trial and error, Grace builds a program to translate back and forth for them so that when he speaks, Rocky hears the tones, and then vice versa. And they show that for a few interactions, and then they sort of let it drop. And the understanding, of course, is he always has the pack with him with the computer that's running this program, and they have the microphones and speakers, so they're always speaking through it. But
in the book, he gradually doesn't need it.
Well, and I think they show that at the end of the movie, they're talking to each other and there's no equipment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So spoiler, sorry. But yeah, I think the way if you've watched one of our random reviews, we're horrible with spoilers. I might just put like, there are spoilers, just suck it up. You'll get over it. But it's a great, it's just a great use of that connection, and they do a great job of showing it, and you explain it. They don't explain some other stuff we'll talk about later, but But they explained it and then kind of let it fall away,
Mhm.
which is cool.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, these are standalone segments, so you might hear this as part of the larger episode, but if you're just watching the random review, thanks for being with us for the review. Please check out the whole episode. If you're with us for the whole episode, like it, subscribe, share it with your friends, tell them how silly and stupid we can be and have fun. But right now, we're going to go back in time.